"I am uncertain about the colors I will be wearing next year," confessed Kelsey Mitchell on the Players Tribune earlier this week. This latest comment is just one in a series of remarks that have raised doubts and worries among those hoping for her return to the Indiana Fever team next season. Mitchell acknowledges her focus on finding the best fit for herself and describes herself as selfish in the decision-making process. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever appears to be actively considering how they can meet her requirements. During Thursday's episode of Locked On Women's Basketball, Kelly Krauskopf, the Indiana Fever's president for basketball operations, discussed the team's plans regarding their star player, Kelsey Mitchell, and the potential implications for the organization. "Yeah, I think most players who are unrestricted free agents are likely seeking one-year contracts," Krauskopf stated. "This is not uncommon and it does not alter our perspective on Kelsey's significance and her importance in contributing to the team's success. Ensuring she remains our top priority is important," Krauskopf emphasized when discussing the CBA and the franchise's efforts to persuade her to stay with the Fever. With the CBA set to be renewed in 2025, many players are likely considering signing a one-year agreement in order to have the opportunity to renegotiate for a higher salary once the new legislation is in effect. The Fever is seeking to manage this situation for their standout guard. The experienced player has proven to be a valuable asset to the team, complementing Caitlin Clark, and together they have become one of the top backcourts in the WNBA during the latter part of the season. She guided the youthful team with her expertise and dominated the scoring charts during competition. It is understandable that the Fever, under the leadership of Stephanie White, are focusing on building around their young roster by considering Mitchell. Former Fever GM and current senior advisor Lynn Dunn has emphasized that Kelsey is their top priority and the team is committed to doing everything possible to bring her back. They have the option to core her. It would be remiss of us not to take advantage of this opportunity. Unfortunately, I am unable to offer insight beyond the current circumstances, as I do not possess knowledge of future events. And we are unable to discuss the matter at this time. We are placing a strong emphasis on the 2025 season and I am confident that we have a lot to bring to the table, expressed Krauskopf. Following their victory in 2012, Gainbridge Fieldhouse brought on White as their coach, who led them to a championship finale in 2015 and also secured their spot in the WNBA playoffs the year after. White expressed during the press conference that the future is promising, with the ultimate objective being to add another banner to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Their journey may be truncated due to their limited number of key players. Despite being the top pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, Clark was preceded by Aaliyah Boston, who was also the top pick in the previous year's draft. Consequently, the Fever are in need of an experienced player to contribute significantly, making Mitchell an essential addition to the team. Selected as the second overall pick, the Ohio native has been a member of the Fever since 2018. After 7 seasons with the franchise, the 29-year-old maintains an average of 16.8 points with a 42.6% field goal percentage, indicating her significant contribution towards the team's championship aspirations. Additionally, Krauskopf emphasized the Fever's commitment to player care, noting that even former players who departed for other teams, such as the Pacers, have occasionally expressed regret. In summary, she attributed the positive atmosphere to the dedicated fan base and suggested that the celebrities affiliated with them could benefit from the team's popularity. She mentioned that Gainbridge attracts a large number of fans on any given night. However, Mitchell's intentions remain unclear as the Fever aim to retain her services while the 2x WNBA All-Star considers exploring free agency. "I have not experienced free agency before, so I am excited for the chance to navigate this new aspect of my career and take control of my future as a professional basketball player," stated the Fever standout, who is currently competing in the Chinese League during the offseason. However, the situation shifted when she shared photos on the internet. Mitchell celebrated her 29th birthday on Tuesday by sharing a selection of images on Instagram in a birthday carousel post. The Ohio State alum is donning the Fever jersey in the freezing weather. After 7 seasons with Indy, Mitchell's commitment to the franchise led fans to believe in her loyalty. The Indiana Fever continue to emphasize Mitchell's value, hinting that they may aggressively pursue her despite uncertainty about her decision. With hope, Clark's backcourt partner will fully support the Indiana Fever's ongoing efforts following their breakout season. The front office underwent a transformation, introducing a new head coach whose primary focus is enhancing the team's defensive capabilities. Caitlin Clark is widely regarded as the top attraction in the Women's National Basketball Association, and there is a high level of competition among leagues to secure her participation. The Fever have a strong focus on enhancing their roster during this offseason, with a significant decision looming regarding the status of Kelsey Mitchell. The two-time All-Star is currently an unrestricted free agent, but the team has the potential to core her. Offering a one-year maximum contract during an offseason when players are seeking short-term agreements would be significant. Mitchell elevated her scoring abilities while playing alongside Clark, establishing herself as a top scorer. The Fever cannot risk losing her without receiving any compensation. President Kelly Krauskopf shared insights on various topics related to the Fever in a recent appearance on the Locked On Women's Basketball podcast. During the episode, she informed fans of the team's strategy for Mitchell's upcoming free agency. Mitchell shared her narrative with the Player Tribune, discussing her consideration of free agency. However, the Fever are resolute in their commitment to retaining her services and have no intention of seeing her depart. Krauskopf highlighted this during the podcast. She remains our top priority. We have the chance to designate her as a core player, and it would be negligent of us not to take advantage of this opportunity. Core player status in the WNBA grants us exclusive negotiating rights for their next contract. In the NBA, it is customary for teams to offer a one-year maximum contract to players. Designating Mitchell as a core player guarantees her presence in Indiana or guarantees compensation for the Fever in the event of her departure. A potential trade remains under consideration, with the franchise holding significant leverage. Concerns have arisen among fans regarding Mitchell's future following the conclusion of the season. The two-time All-Star is currently competing in China but has emerged as a vital contributor to Indiana's achievements. Kelly Krauskopf has confirmed that the Fever have expressed their desire to retain her for the 2025 season, stating their intention to core her. Mitchell retains the option to explore alternatives and seek a trade, although it appears probable that the franchise will opt to retain its core players with some enhancements. The announcement by Krauskopf should provide reassurance to Indiana Fever fans. She is looking to optimize their timeframe and create a championship-worthy team at the earliest opportunity. Retaining Kelsey Mitchell is a vital component of the strategy. Anticipate the Fever to make every effort and procure additional components. The Caitlin Clark era holds promising prospects for supporters to look forward to. Under the leadership of new head coach Stephanie White, the Indiana Fever aims for a strong performance in the upcoming WNBA season. However, uncertainties arise as key player Kelsey Mitchell nears free agency. The team's new president, Kelly Krauskopf, emphasized the organization's dedication to retaining her. Krauskopf emphasized Mitchell as our top priority during a November 13 interview on the Locked On Women's Basketball podcast with Howard Megdal. Certainly, we have the chance to conduct a core analysis on her. It would be negligent on our part to not take advantage of this opportunity, she emphasized. The core player designation, much like the NFL's franchise tag, enables a team to safeguard one unrestricted free agent each offseason. This provides the team with sole bargaining privileges with the player, who is presented with a one-year, supermax contract offer. Since signing an extension with the Indiana Fever in 2021, Mitchell has not been named as a core player. It is worth mentioning that a player can only receive the core designation a maximum of 2 times. Krauskopf expressed that the majority of unrestricted free agents are likely considering one-year contracts. That is not uncommon and it does not alter our perspective on Kelsey's significance and her role in the team's success, she further stated. Mitchell has dedicated her entire 7-year career to the Fever. During the most recent season, she delivered one of her strongest showings, maintaining an average of 19.2 points per game. She ended the season as the team's second highest scorer, accumulating 767 points, second only to her teammate Caitlin Clark. Mitchell conveyed her admiration for Clark in a sincere message. Mitchell, currently competing with the Shanxi Flame in China during the offseason, reflected in a recent column for the Players Tribune that her future team in the WNBA is uncertain. And anticipating what lies ahead is a challenging task, Mitchell stated. I must admit, I am uncertain about the colors I will be wearing next year. This uncertainty only deepens my appreciation for the current season and our team, she expressed. The player, aged 28, faced challenges in 2024 following the passing of her father, Mark Mitchell. The tragic loss she has experienced will prompt her to carefully evaluate all available alternatives. Nevertheless, Fever leadership and fans are optimistic about her potential continuation with the team for at least another year. As Mitchell herself has stated, the franchise is her home. Indiana Fever president of basketball and AMP business operations, Kelly Krauskopf, emphasized during a recent episode of the Locked On Women's Basketball podcast that resigning Kelsey Mitchell, a longtime guard for the Fever who will be an unrestricted free agent in 2025, is a top priority. She's our number one priority, Krauskopf affirmed. We have the chance to prioritize her core. It would be irresponsible of us not to take advantage of this opportunity. Each WNBA team has the option to designate one player as a core player during free agency. This designation allows teams to retain the rights of one player who might otherwise become a free agent. Players selected as core players are automatically eligible for a one-year Supermax offer in accordance with the WNBA's current collective bargaining agreement, CBA. The WNBA Supermax salary is set at $249,244 for the year 2025. If a player has been designated as a core player for 2 seasons during their career, teams are prohibited from assigning them that designation again. Kelsey Mitchell has yet to attain a core designation in her career thus far. With prize Fever players Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston locked in through the 2025 season and not requiring a core designation, it appears almost certain that Mitchell will be cored by Indiana this offseason. This was strongly suggested by Krauskopf during a segment of her Locked On Women's Basketball podcast, where she also emphasized why Mitchell should see this as a positive development. "I think it's more of an honor," Krauskopf remarked about players receiving core designations. "If I am considered a player of significance, I am designated as the franchise player. In my perspective, rare opportunities like that one do not present themselves frequently. When presented with the chance, it is advisable to allocate resources towards your key player. Kelsey Mitchell serves as a valuable asset to our team," noted Krauskopf. "The Clark-Mitchell backcourt is one of the most formidable duos in the game. We require an additional year to assess the impact that these two individuals can create in the backcourt, as well as to explore further possibilities." Following the Golden State Valkyries WNBA expansion draft, the Fever will still need to ensure the protection of Mitchell before considering roster additions. However, if Krauskopf and the Fever front office choose to use their core designation on Mitchell, it is likely that the dynamic backcourt duo will be reunited in 2025, unless a trade occurs. In a heartfelt article published on the Players Tribune, Indiana Fever standout Kelsey Mitchell paid tribute to her late father. She shared the emotional impact of his sudden passing in March, how it affected her during the 2024 WNBA season, and the void left by his absence in her first year without him by her side. "This season has presented significant challenges, both on and off the basketball court. This marks the first time she had to navigate without her father, whom she refers to as her OG and closest companion." Transitioning to free agency after 7 seasons with the Indiana Fever, Mitchell views this as an opportunity for personal and professional growth. Key insights from her reflection shed light on her journey thus far and hint at what the future may hold. Kelsey Mitchell's free agency status has been a prominent topic in the WNBA offseason, with recent statements from Fever president Kelly Krauskopf sparking discussions about the implications of coring a player in the league. To sum up, despite Mitchell becoming a free agent this offseason, the Fever have the option to retain her for another year by assigning her a core designation this winter, a privilege limited to one player per free agency period. By utilizing this option, the Fever will be committed to offering Mitchell a Supermax contract worth $249,244 in the following season. Meanwhile, Mitchell is currently competing for the Shanxi Flame in the Women's Chinese Basketball Association, WCBA, amidst speculation about her future. Mitchell's recent Instagram story suggests that money is currently a priority for her. In the post, which is captioned "When somebody asked me what I like about my job," a video of Whoopi Goldberg stating getting paid has sparked speculation about Mitchell's intentions. "I appreciate receiving a paycheck, to be honest." Additionally, Mitchell included her own caption stating, "It is unclear what Mitchell intended to convey with this post and caption. However, based on her reference to over these waters, she may be hinting at a current overseas salary concern." Whether related to the WNBA or free agency, this post is likely to capture the attention of Fever fans. During the WNBA offseason, Indiana Fever standout Caitlin Clark has shifted her focus to the sport of golf. Recently, she made her Pro-Am debut at the Anica in Florida, an event hosted by the LPGA. It was evident that the Fever guard needed to improve her swing, but she still found pleasure in the activity. In a few weeks, the 22-year-old Clark will shift her focus back to her sophomore season in the WNBA, with guidance from returning Fever coach Stephanie White. Clark will enter the second year of her $338,000 contract with the Fever, following her selection as the #1 pick. First overall selection. Aaron Kane, the agent of the Rookie of the Year, provided insight into securing lucrative deals for the increasingly sought-after athlete in today's market. "When it comes to clients such as Caitlin, she is truly unique, so our focus is simply on establishing the market," stated Kane during the Diggin' Deep podcast episode on Wednesday. "There is a misconception that agents possess ultimate control, as if they can simply speak things into existence. However, the truth is that you are analyzing the situation." Kane also mentioned that Clark's appeal has elevated her to the same status as other renowned female athletes. Kane explained that only a few players have sparked such enthusiasm through their exceptional skills. However, the method in which they perform the task is also important. Choose between the iconic athletes Serena Williams or Simone Biles, especially when considering female athletes. Caitlin is among those individuals. Clark's playstyle has attracted a large and diverse fan base. During her time at Iowa, she gained popularity nationwide and secured multiple endorsements from well-known brands like Nike, Gatorade, and Wilson. Wilson has recently launched a new series of basketballs in collaboration with her.